Sorry, I had to. It's a new mic. Anyways, guys, today we're gonna talk about the day I solved a Rubik's Cube in class. Let's talk about this. Now, just so you know, I am an immigrant from the UK. Now, being from England, of course, I was known as the British kid. Hey, yo man, what's up? What? Hey bro, do you wanna play football? Oh yeah, here. What? So, everyone's, making fun of my accent and the words I would say. And honestly, I liked the attention. I loved it. Now, my accent has faded a lot because, I've lived here for a few years now. But yeah, for a few months, I was known as the British kid in school. But now let's talk about the story of the Rubik's Cube. So a few months have passed and, still trying to adjust to the American school system. But then during my last period class, right, I looked over to my teacher's desk and I saw a Rubik's Cube. So, of course, being a cuber, I was like, oh boy, wouldn't it be nice to show all these people my cubing skills. Now, FYI, I've been cubing for like 2.5 years prior to this time. So I was averaging like high 20 seconds, which is still pretty impressive if you think about it. But when the decision had to be made whether or not to actually show these people my cubing skills, I did nothing. I mean, honestly, what could I do? Hey, would you guys like to see me solve this Rubik's Cube right now? No, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I did nothing. So I left the class feeling a bit sad, but just understanding that, I couldn't have done anything at that point. But then for the next few days, during my last period math class, I was eyeballing that cube. Like, actually. But then, the day finally came. Now, one day during my math class, everyone's like doing a worksheet, right? So everyone's in their own group, everyone's talking and doing the worksheet. And then I knew this was like the perfect time. And I don't remember it too vaguely, but I believe the teacher wasn't there as well, which gave me an even higher boost to actually do it. So when the time came, I had to do it. And here's how it happened, right? I said these words specifically. I said, hey, I could solve that. And I was pointing directly at the cube by the teacher's desk. And then when I did that, everyone was like looking at the direction I was pointing at. And then one guy who was sitting next to the teacher's desk grabbed the cube and gave it to me. Then I had someone scramble it for me, and then they gave it back to me. And then I was solving away. So I was solving the cube. I didn't know any F2L, I was actually solving layer by layer. I didn't know many OLO or PLOs. Everyone was watching me, and then I solved it. Now, the reaction from the people around me were like, as you'd expect, they were like, whoa, nice, whoa, cool. And at that point, I was feeling amazing. But then a guy who saw me solve it was like, hey, I can solve that too. So we gave it to him and we scrambled it and all that. And then he was solving away as well. But then the unfortunate thing was, it was like 2 minutes before the bell would ring for school to end. So when the bell finally rang, he didn't have enough time to solve it. But I was feeling amazing, knowing finally I showed my classmates that I can solve the Rubik's Cube. So I left school feeling amazing. But then that's not the end, because the next few days or months were even better. So yeah, here's what happened. Let's reposition actually. Alright. Feels great outside. Hello. Does it sound good? Hopefully it does. But anyways. So we're on to like the next day, right? And then it's my first period science class. So I'm either like listening to the teacher or like working on my assignments or something. But then while class is in session, right, I start hearing my name through the hallways. It's sounding like CAD. Literally like running through the hallways. And then I found that it was my English teacher. So he literally came to my science class, and you know what he did? He pulled me out of class saying, hey Cad, come here, And so, I was like, okay. So, and then I step out of class, And then he says, "Can you solve this?" And right next to the teacher is that one kid from the day before who said, remember the guy who said, "Hey, I can solve that"? Yeah, it was that kid. And then he said, "Here, can you solve this Rubik's Cube?" And I said, yeah, of course I can. And so he scrambled it and all that. And then he told me to solve it. And so I did. I was like, okay, I'm going to solve this cube. Don't really know what's happening. And then when I solved it, the teacher was like, "He solved it so much faster than you." And, the kid was like, "You're bullying me." So yeah, they just went back to their classroom. He went back to teaching. And I went back to class, my science class, feeling like, okay, that was cool, okay. And everyone around me was like, "Whoa, dude, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened?" But then, the next few days, I think everyone already knew that I was the Rubik's Cube guy. I was known as the British guy and the Rubik's Cube guy. It was amazing. But then, at the end of, near the end of school, my English teacher said, "Hey Kat, could you bring all your cubes to class tomorrow, and then we could do this whole relay thing?" So the next day I brought a few cubes. It was a 3x3, a 2x2, a Pyraminx, I believe, and a 5x5. So I brought them to my teacher, and he was like, "Oh yes, okay, we got this." And then outside of the group of classes were this table, and so he laid it on that table. And then just a crowd of students just came crowding around me, right? So I sat at the desk, and then they scrambled all the cubes. I don't know, they got the students to do it as well. And then the teacher pulled out his phone and he started interviewing me, right?
"Okay, Kat, how do you feel about this challenge right now?"
And he passed it over to me. He was like, well, I'm kind of nervous, but the thing is, with this 5x5, I'm not 100% sure I can solve it. Which was true, because, I knew how to, I pretty much knew how to solve it, but I didn't know parity. And you know how bad it is if you don't know parity. You can't solve it if you don't know parity. And then the relay started, right? So I started with 2x2. It was pretty easy, and I actually got a PLO skip. I was doing layer by layer. I didn't know any CLO. But then I went to 3x3, which was a super mediocre solve. It was really nothing special. Then Pyraminx, which, that was also mediocre. And then there was 5x5. You have no idea how it was scary solving that thing. It's either I'm embarrassing myself or I'm the smartest kid ever. And just so you know, there's a crowd of students around me. They're holding out their phones where's my phone? This kid's gonna be famous. And when I was solving 5x5, I was scared. In my head, I'm like, am I gonna get parity? Am I gonna get parity? Please don't give me parity. Please don't. And then by the time I came to the last two edges, right, which is usually where you get parity, guess what happened? I didn't get parity. It was amazing. Then there's 3x3 stage, and then I solved it. And then the crowd went wild. Everyone's like, "Oh!" The modern day thing that everyone says now when something cool happens, they go "Oh, oh!" It was amazing. I was crazy happy at that point. I think that's it for this section. Wait, actually, nah. Yeah, and then just some, random stories. There's this pretty girl in my class, right, in my science class. And then when I was going up to get a Chromebook with my 2x2 in my hand, she just from behind me, she just grabbed the cube from my hand and just started turning it. It was "Oh, sorry, I want to play with it." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you can. Sure. I don't mind." Then yeah. And that's it. That's the story of the day I solved the Rubik's Cube in class. But yeah. That's how we're ending it. Yeah. Okay, that's it for this video, guys. I'm actually kind of curious, what's your cubing story of when you solved a cube in class? So tell me in the comments. I'll be reading them and all that. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at CatTheCuber. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Should that be an outro? Nah.
Bye.